Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by the Ham Station. Get your new radio or antenna by calling 800-729-4373 or go to hamstation.com.
It's Ham Radio.
And good evening, everyone. This is Ham Talk Live, episode number 11. Our Dayton Hamvention preview, Instructors and Youth Forums with Carol Perry, WB2 MGP. Recorded live on Thursday, April 28th, 2016. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9 VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight on the show, Carol Perry, WB2 MGP, will be on the show to talk about the upcoming Ham Radio Instructors Forum and Youth Forum at the Dayton Hamvention. And we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes, and you'll have a chance to call in and play Ham Talk Trivia. Last week, the show was recorded on Tuesday and posted only as a podcast. We didn't do the show live due to the death of my mother, Margie Rapp, WD9HEE, that morning. So if you missed the show, you weren't the only one. But that's posted now, and you can download that anytime, as well as any future show that we have on hamtalklive.com. It's also available on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, TuneIn, or YouTube. And we want to thank everybody for your understanding, and we hope to be here live every Thursday night for a long time. Originally, we had Frank B4, WS8B, scheduled to do that show about the Hamvention Award winners. And also, due to a funeral, Frank was not able to do the show. So, Corey Shields, KB9JHU, stepped up and filled in on the show regarding the upcoming Tapper Forum, where he presents about satnogs. So if you have an interest in satellites and his interview, please give it a listen. And there's a short tribute to my mom. We'll talk about the Hamvention Award winners briefly next week when the Hamvention official spokesperson and general chairman will join us. Tonight we want to take your calls as always, so in just a few minutes be ready to call in. You can call us two ways. You can call us on Skype. The username is Ham Talk Live, or by telephone. The number is 812-NET-HAM1. 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. So have those dialing fingers ready. Tonight, we continue our Dayton Hamvention preview. And remember that we'll be broadcasting live from Dayton. If you are in Dayton on Thursday, May 19th, the night before Hamvention, stop by the lobby of Spring Hill Suites in Miamisburg near the Dayton Mall at 417 North Springboro Pike. We'll be interviewing the audience live on the show. We'll be giving away some prizes and taking calls from people talking about their favorite part of Hamvention. So if you're on the road to Dayton, we'd love for you to call in and tell us your favorite part of Hamvention weekend. Or if you can't make it to Dayton this year, give us a call and tell us your favorite Hamvention story. So keep listening and watch our Facebook and Twitter feed for all the details. Also, we're just about ready to release the details on our Ham Talk Live shirts for sale. So again, watch our Facebook page and Twitter feed for the information, and there's a sneak peek of the design up there right now. Carol Perry, WB2 MGP, is coming up next after this word from the Ham Station right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by the Ham Station. For 35 years, the Ham Station has brought new and used radios, antennas, accessories, and equipment to the amateur radio community. Give Jeff or Dan a call at 1-800-729-4373 or order online at hamstation.com. Ham Station carries all the major brands like ICOM, Yaesu, and Kenwood. Shop from a wide selection of radio scanners, MFJ accessories, Heil Sound products, Mirage and Ameritron amplifiers, Cushcraft antennas, and more. Easy online shopping and fast shipping are waiting for you at hamstation.com or call 1-800-729-4373. The Ham Station, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
Look for me at Dayton. I'll be the one wearing the Yaesu hat. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
And welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Thanks to the support of the Ham Station to help bring Ham Talk Live to you each week. Dan and Jeff are just a phone call away to answer your questions about a new rig or antenna. Call 800-729-4373. Be sure to listen to the show every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on hamtalklive.com. Also, check out our Facebook page and Twitter feed. Just search for Ham Talk Live. Carol Perry, WB2MGP, is our guest this evening. Carol's considered by most to be the leading authority on teaching ham radio to young people. She taught ham radio at Intermediate School 72 in Staten Island, New York, for 30 years. She travels across the globe speaking to hams about involving young people in ham radio and using it as a teaching tool. Carol Perry is the recipient of the 1987 Dayton Young Ham of the Year. She's young, but the Dayton Ham of the Year Award, the 1987 ARRL Instructor of the Year Award, the 1991 Marconi Wireless Memorial Award, the 1993 QCWA President's Award, the 1996 Radio Club of America Barry Goldwater Amateur Radio Award, and both the 2009 and 2012 Radio Club of America President's Awards. Carol is an RCA Fellow, and in 2007 she was elected to the Board of Directors, a position she still holds, and she created the Youth Activities Committee, which she now chairs. She also created the RCA Young Achievers Award, given to students in grade 12 and below who have demonstrated excellence and creativity in wireless communications. Under Carol's leadership, the RCA Youth Activities Committee donates equipment, cash grants, books, and supplies to chosen schools or youth groups. Carol has moderated the Dayton Hamvention Youth Forum and Instructors Forum for 29 years. She's a member of QCWA, and she also is involved in the youth activities of the Quarter Century Wireless Association, the Radio Club of America, ARRL, the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, the Antique Wireless Association, and Brandeis Women. And she's been a friend of mine since my early days in ham radio. Carol, welcome, and thanks so much for taking your time to be on Ham Talk Live.
Oh, my pleasure. Good evening, Neil.
It's great to talk to you again, and we're looking forward to the forums. And let's start off with the Instructors Forum. That's going to take place on Friday morning of Hamvention at 10:30 a.m. That goes until 12 noon. That's in Forum Room 3 in the main arena there. It's kind of in the middle. There's a little overhang outside where the forums are, and just check in there and look for Forum Room 3. So tell us a little bit about the Instructors Forum and who should be attending this forum. Is it just for school teachers? Is it for instructors of ham classes? Tell us who should show up to this.
Well, primarily, we invite people who already are involved with a youth group, be it scouts, be it teaching in a classroom or an instructor, anybody who's involved with teaching youngsters about amateur radio in a group or classroom setting. Or another reason for coming would be if you are thinking about doing something like that and would like some idea of how to get help and resources. This is the forum to come to for networking and for sharing of ideas amongst scout leaders, instructors, teachers, and those who are just looking for good ideas for recruiting young people. That's who should be at this forum.
Okay, very good. Well, that encompasses a lot of people. That if you're recruiting and teaching ham radio in any fashion, there's something there to take away. So tell our listeners exactly what they can expect to take away from that forum.
Well, beside the sharing of ideas and the networking and the resources that they will be told about and handouts that will be given out, we also try to reserve some time after each speaker has done their presentation, and I've got 3 of them this year, to ask questions. So hopefully by speaking with the experts in their respective fields, people will leave that forum not only being more knowledgeable and having more resources to refer to, but that they will become motivated. That's the main thing, to become motivated and to know that they're not alone out there, that unlike when I started this so many years ago, where there were very, very few resources to go to, there are many out there now, many people who will be willing to help, and many resources in whatever venue you would be working with young people.
Very, very good. Well, I've come away with many valuable resources from this forum over the years. So if you get a chance, stop by the Instructors Forum. Again, it's Friday from 10:30 a.m. to noon in Forum Room 3. And tell us just a little bit about who your 3 presenters are this year and what their topics will be.
Okay, great, Neil. This year, I chose to pick people who would be able to speak knowledgeably about 3 frequently asked questions that I get as I travel across the country. I will have Bob, KA2PBT, who is a friend of mine, who was very active in a high school with ham radio as a major part of its curriculum. And he's going to be speaking about how to advance amateur radio in the school system. And he will have 2 of his high school students doing a little demonstration of how wonderful this is to have in a high school. They will be speaking about an antenna and engineering design competition that they recently won. So you'll get to see the kids actually validating what he will be speaking about. And then we have Sam Rose, who is going to be speaking about the advantages of college ham radio programs. And this is also a new initiative that I'm working on a task force with the ARRL about how we can get amateur radio in more colleges and universities and what those advantages would be. And then we have somebody you know quite well. We have Maria Lysandro. Probably one of the most frequently asked questions I get is about how to attract females into amateur radio. And that's what Maria is going to be speaking about, ideas of attracting females into the hobby and service, and some really good ideas about how to do that. So those are going to be my 3 presenters at that forum.
Excellent. And yes, I'm showing a little bias toward the 3rd one since she's one of my students, and her older brother was one of the youth forum speakers a few years ago, and so I definitely have some bias there. But we're working on Maria's presentation, and she has some really cool ideas. So I'm looking forward to see how that all falls together. So speaking of the youth forum, let's switch over to the youth forum, which is on Saturday morning of Hamvention. That goes from 9:15 a.m. until noon. There's an hour that's almost all prize giveaway at this thing. We recognize the young people, we recognize the kids that are there and the ones that are speaking, and then there's also prizes for the adults, and we'll talk more about that after the break. But that's in Forum Room 2, and that's always a well-attended forum, so you want to get there early and get your seat. Again, 9:15 a.m. for that one on Saturday. So tell us who should be attending this forum.
In one word, everybody. This is the forum that anybody who's partaking in amateur radio should come to, because it's showing support for our young hams. So regardless of what aspect of the hobby you are involved with, it's critical that we support the future. And the future, very simply put, is with our young hams. And this year, I guarantee you will be so impressed. I have a record-breaking 11 young speakers. Actually, 10 will be speaking, and the 11th is Maria, who is considered one of my young presenters, but she is going to be taking over the topic at the Instructors Forum about getting girls involved. But each one is more impressive than the next. And about an hour and a half of the forum is devoted to those young presenters speaking about all different topics in amateur radio, which we can speak a little bit about later. And the second hour, I usually have guest speakers coming in, well-known people in amateur radio. Last year, of course, we had the astronaut. No such promise this year. But we usually have interesting people and interesting announcements being made during the second part. And the last hour, as you said, is literally devoted to giving away the prizes to the youngsters in the audience, to the adults who come to show support for our young hams, and certainly to the presenters. So my answer is everybody who's interested in the future should come, and I guarantee you won't be sorry. It's quite something impressive to see.
It is always an impressive sight. So come by the Youth Forum. Again, that's Saturday morning of Hamvention at 9:15 a.m. And run through your presenters, your young presenters real quick, and a quick synopsis of what they'll be talking about this year.
Okay, well, I'll just give the first names at this point, and they range in age from 9 to 17. We've got Kelsey, who gives a fabulous talk about preparing yourself, an in-depth look at go kits for emergencies, and obviously emphasis on the communications part of that. Brandon will be speaking about ARIS, ARISS, contacts, cell phones down and radios up. And then we've got Eli and Zach, who will be doing a dual presentation of Discover the Fun and Magic of Digital Radio Communications. I've got 9-year-old Hope, who will be speaking about her experience, and I use that word knowing what I'm saying, her experiences at age 9 about working through satellites. I've got Skylar, who will be talking about home brewing on a budget, some really good ideas. Jacob will be speaking about programming tips for new radios. And then I've got Marty, who at age 13, I've had about 10 inquiries about him already. He's just that unusual, a young ham in a very positive way, who will be speaking about home brewing fun. And I've got William speaking about setting up a radio station to chase DX. And then we have a young man who is a U.S. citizen but has a license in this country and in India as well, who will be speaking about how he was inspired to get involved with communications in both countries and what his accomplishments are at the tender age of 14. So those are my speakers and their topics.
That's quite an impressive lineup, and I've seen pictures of Hope on Facebook all over the place.
Yes.
She looks like she's doing just having a blast out there. And Marty, oh my goodness, Marty. I haven't had a chance to talk with him too much directly, but I did just briefly the other day, and he is quite the character. I know he was on Tom Medlin's show the other night, and he's just very entertaining. So we look forward to seeing Marty and Hope and the rest of the lineup there at the forum. So tell us a little bit about what these speakers are going to receive after they do their presentation.
Well, right after the presentation, RCA, the Radio Club of America, of which I'm a director and head of the youth activities, I make sure that each one of my speakers gets an RCA Young Achievers Certificate. And from what I've heard from parents, that looks nice and impressive on college applications. And each one of them then gets a $100 stipend from my youth activities committee to go out and spend and have a good time at Dayton. ICOM, being totally generous for so many years, makes sure that each of the young presenters gets a handheld radio. MFJ gives them a matching antenna. And ICOM also will be giving them, I hope I'm not spoiling anything by giving away the
don't spoil
secret
anything.
If kids. Well, ICOM's got lots of personalized goodies for the presenters as well as the radios. They also get other goodies from ICOM. And Kenwood and MFJ and ICOM as well donate radios or radio accessories as being part of the co-sponsors of the forum for the children in the audience to try and win, and for the adults. This year, they will have gifts from Kenwood as well that will be offered. And this is all free, obviously. No one's buying anything. These are all stubs that you get when you come in for door prizes to be pulled later. For the adults who have been so supportive of the Youth Forum through the past 29 years, I make sure that they get a really good gift for themselves, and ICOM supports me on this. And this year, we will be giving away an IC 7100. So you have to be present to win. And we certainly hope to see. Most people do sit there for the entire 3 hours because it goes that quickly. I'm usually thrilled when we finish at exactly noon. So that's how jam-packed it is, and that's the way I love to do things.
Oh, absolutely. And you heard it here. You have a chance to win an IC 7100 from ICOM just by coming to the forum and supporting these young people and picking up a free ticket when you come in. So that's incredible that you can walk away with a rig like that. So make sure you stop in at the Youth Forum and mention your sponsors real quick, especially the Radio Club of America.
Well, as I said, we've got the Radio Club of America, and I would certainly appreciate the chance of making mention of Charles Kermus, who is a fellow director and on my youth activities. And so that money that's given to the youngsters for the last 3 years doesn't have to come out of my budget that I work out of, RCA being a non-for-profit organization, all volunteers. I have a budget that I work with that I give stipends and different grants out so that that money doesn't have to come out of my budget. Charles and his company have been donating the stipends that we give to the kids. So 11 kids this year, that's $1,100 that he has donated to give to them because of his support of what we're doing. And we've also got Kenwood, MFJ, QCWA supports the Young Ham Lends a Hand contest that we run, and we'll be announcing the winner of that one when we're there as well. And there's a local club, the Lance Cruz Amateur Radio Club, that does the printing of the tickets for us, I'm going to say for the last 25 years. And they even donate their one of their members to be the prize manager, Ralph, who has been helping me with all this enormous amount of prizes that we give out from the Lance Cruz Amateur Radio Club. The Lehigh, Delaware Amateur Radio Club has donated cash for the Youth Forum as well. And ARRL will be donating books and accessories this year as well.
Well, thanks to all those people that make all this possible, because it really does help out these kids and give them a chance and to have some equipment of their own, and also to get some support in there. So be sure to check out the Youth Forum, and it's time to take our final break. But we'll be back with more from Carol Perry, WB2MGP, and all kinds of good stuff, and your calls right after this word from Tower Electronics. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. Tower Electronics has been the Ham's dime store since 1978, bringing connectors, antennas, cables, and other parts to the world. Scott and Jill travel the country bringing their store to you at Hamfest, but you can also order online at pl-259.com or by calling 920-435-2973. Stock up on those supplies like PL259 and end connectors, audio cables, mobile antennas, and ham sticks. Their silver-plated end connectors are even in use on the International Space Station. Tower Electronics is a dealer for MFJ, Comet, Daiwa, OPEC, Workman, and Ham Pro Technologies. Tower Electronics online at pl-259.com, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
A clean house is a sign of a broken radio. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Well, as always, we'd like to thank Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show. Don't miss Scott and Jill. They're at the Cedarburg, Wisconsin Hamfest this weekend. Or check out their website, pl-259.com. Next week, they'll be in Sandwich, Illinois, and then, of course, they'll be at the Dayton Hamvention. Carol Perry, WB2MGP, is our guest this evening. Carol's the moderator for both the Instructors Forum and the Youth Forum at the upcoming Dayton Hamvention. So we're going to take your calls, so please give us a call now, and feel free to ask Carol about either one of the forums or how you can get young people involved in ham radio. You can do that by calling us on Skype at Ham Talk Live, or if Skype isn't your thing, you can give us a call by telephone at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. And we'll have a chance for you to win on Ham Talk Trivia here momentarily. And we do have a call, so let's go straight to the call. Go ahead. Who do we have here? Hello?
Hello. Hi. This is Marty, KC1CWS calling. Hello.
Hi, Marty.
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to finally talk to you, and you know this lady I'm speaking with here.
I am very fortunate. I do know that that lovely lady that you're so lucky to have on your show tonight.
Hi, Marty.
Hi, Carol. Good to talk to you. I just wanted to call in and say, Neil, how the great things you're doing with Ham Radio and this new show. And I've listened to a few of your episodes, and I just see you're doing great stuff here with Ham Radio and the internet and podcasting and media. And I think Ham Radio is very fortunate to have you. I don't really have a big question for you. I just thought I'd give you a call here. Yeah.
We're glad you called in and said hello, and we look forward to seeing you at the youth forum and look forward to hearing about all this homebrew stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I don't want to give too much away. Got to give some sort of incentive, but it's going to be a fun time thanks to all of Carol's hard work.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate you calling in, and we'll be looking forward to that in just a couple of weeks.
3 weeks.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Neil. I appreciate it. 73 for now.
7-3s.
7-3, Marty.
Bye, Carol.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that's how you do it. There's Marty. We got him on here. Hey, talk a little bit about this Young Ham Lends a Hand Award before things get too far away from us here.
Oh, okay, great. And by the way, I met Marty, we were at Boxborough in Boston in August, and about 5 minutes after speaking with him, I said, "You're hired," and I immediately gave him an invitation to come to Dayton. So I'm glad I had my scouting for talent hat on that afternoon because he's in high demand. But let me speak with you about the Young Ham Lends a Hand contest. This year's winner will be announced at the Youth Forum. And I'd like your people to know that for next year you can nominate somebody. It's very informal. All you do is send me an email with the name and age, 18 or below, of a licensed ham radio operator who has given back in the spirit of amateur radio to his community, to his school, to friends, to recruiting, to military personnel, to senior citizens. Somebody 18 or below who is using his license to get other people interested in communications and technology. There's a wide range of service that we would consider to be noteworthy that a youngster can be performing. And you just have to write me a brief little synopsis of what that youngster has done to contribute in some way, and that we can show that we appreciate and give support to what he's doing, he or she is doing. And they do get a $100 cash stipend. If they're not at Dayton, it will, of course, be sent to them. But I would like to share with you that this year there were 7 youngsters who were recommended. And I sat with my committee, and we really had to think long and hard over which one to choose. That's how good, and what a good thing for us to know that this is who's out there. What a good thing for us to know that there are these kids out there in the true spirit of one of the tenets of amateur radio. That's the Young Ham Lends a Hand contest.
Very good. Well, we look forward to hearing who wins that as always. So that's something else coming up on the Youth Forum. That's again Saturday at 9:15 a.m. until noon in room 2 at the Dayton Hamvention. Okay, we've got time for another call, so let's see if we can get another call in here. It's 812-NET-HAM1, 812-NET-HAM1, or Skype at Ham Talk Live. And we'll see if we can get one more in here, and then we're going to give Carol a break and let her go back to doing all this paperwork to get ready for this, and also see if we can make somebody out there a winner. We're going to try some trivia tonight. Real simple multiple choice trivia question tonight. So we're taking it easy on you. Yeah.
Neil, if I might, one more thing.
Sure.
This is the 29th annual Youth Forum. Next year, obviously, will be the 30th. And one of the things I'm going to be throwing out to the audience, and that we've already begun to do as I speak at different forums around the country, is to solicit suggestions of what you think we can be doing for the 30th, 3 decades worth of the Instructor and Youth Forum to make it be super special next year. And I will tell you, one of the things I am definitely going to have will be a segment on where are they now. Many of the speakers stay in touch with me, and now we're talking about doing this over 3 decades. Most of them are obviously well into adulthood in interesting careers and personal avocations, etc. And we're going to have a segment of what the most impressive of these are, of where these youngsters, as a result, partly of their exposure at the Dayton Youth Forum, have ended up. I think that's going to be fascinating.
Oh, I remember 25, and it was very, very interesting to hear what they have done. So that sounds great. So if you have an idea, be sure to pass that along, and you can do that now if you want at 812-NET-HAM1 or Skype at Ham Talk Live. And you can do that, or any other question you have for Carol. We have just a couple of minutes left for you to call, so we'll stand by here for a moment and see if you do. But Carol, I just want to, again, thank you for taking time out to do this, but the amount of time that goes into putting this whole thing together, the youth forum by itself, let alone the instructors forum too, is just immense. And so on behalf of everybody out there, we thank you for putting all of this together.
Well, thank you for all the support, especially you, through the years. We go back a long way.
It has been a long time. So, all right. Well, okay. Oh, I have a question on Twitter that says, what can we do to get more young people on HFDXing and contesting? So, Carol, any ideas on that one?
Well, just as with any aspect of amateur radio, get the children or the young person exposed to all the fun that those venues offer. When I taught this, because I was limited to classroom time, I always had those kids who were interested get fed into the local amateur radio clubs. And they would be prepared that when some of my students were coming to a meeting, they would be set up to show different areas of the fun of, be it whatever it was, doing Morse code, HF, satellite communications, doing flea markets, field day, etc. The idea is to expose them to something in a fun way, and heaven knows we all believe that it's really fun, and to show what the value of it is, the camaraderie between the children who participate in it, kids their own age. And I'm pleased to report there is just a total upswing of young people getting involved for different reasons than they did years ago, but nevertheless still getting involved in very large numbers. And it's always the exposure to it. And if it's not directly in the family by a family member, showing them the fun of getting on a radio and communicating. Then it's by taking the kids to places where they will see it. Look up where your local club is. Go into a school. That's my best suggestion. Go into a school, and if you don't have the ability to get a program or a club started, then go in and do a demonstration. And here's my good idea that always works. Go get the principal to allow you to go in during lunchtime. Set up the rig in the cafeteria. Have the kids line up to say a couple of words on the microphone, and of course have your people standing by at the other end to welcome them and to say a few words. But the kids love to get on a radio and experience that. You'll have a line all around the cafeteria, and then have one of the teachers invite you to come back to say, and here's how you too can get involved with this. There are no age requirements. And the thing is to get that first spark by exposing them in a fun way.
All right. There you have it. There's your answer. So, again, Carol is moderating the Instructors Forum on Friday of Hamvention in Room 3, and that starts at 10:30 a.m., and the Youth Forum is on Saturday of Hamvention in Room 2 from 9:15 a.m. until noon. Carol, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we know these forums will be fabulous as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil. Have a good evening.
All right, Carol, take care. All right, well, that's Carol Perry, WB2MGP, and couldn't imagine Hamvention without her. It's just always a highlight. So hopefully you can get by to catch the forums, or at least one, hopefully. So now it's time for us to have a little game show here this evening. It's going to be a quick one. But it's time to play Ham Talk Trivia. So give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1 right now. Right now, 812-NET-HAM1. And here's how this works. If you answer the question correctly, you'll earn the respect of all the listeners and the host. And as an added bonus, you'll receive an official Ham Talk Live glow-in-the-dark rubber duck. Not an antenna for a handheld, but a real rubber duck, if you can answer this question correctly, and you'll have some fun in the process. So give us a call right now, 812-NET-HAM1, 812-NET-HAM1, and it's a simple multiple-choice trivia question about ham radio tonight, so it should be a piece of cake. So give us a call, 812-NET-HAM1, and you could win the official Ham Talk Live glow-in-the-dark rubber duck. So give us a call, and if we don't get a call, we're going to have to finish up because we're just about out of time. So give us a call, 812-NET-HAM1, and if we run out of time, we'll save it for next week. And I believe next week, we have a call, so let's take it. Okay. Hello, you're on Ham Talk Live.
Hey, Neil, this is Scott. This is M4J in Huntsville, Alabama.
Scott, well, thank you for calling in and playing Ham Talk Trivia. We've got just a minute here. It's just about to give up, so let's get going here. Okay, so here's your question. Who is the Governor Ham? A, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California. B, George Pataki, the former governor of New York. Or C, I always mess up his name, Blagojevich, the former governor of Illinois.
Let's see here. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not the last guy, and I never heard of Arnold doing the ham thing, so I'll have to go with B.
That's absolutely right. George Pataki, K2ZCZ. It was lapsed, but was reissued. So Scott N4JN is our winner tonight. Congratulations. We'll get that rubber duck out to you. And thanks for playing Ham Talk Trivia. So that's a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. I'd like to thank my guest, Carol Perry, WB2MGP, and all the callers and listeners out there in cyberspace, and invite you all back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time when James Titterman, N8IDS, the general chairman of Hamvention, and Mike Coulter, the spokesperson of Hamvention, will be here. So for now, 7 threes, and may the good DX be yours.